Hey, it's the latest episode of The Ugly Truth. Today, Paula and I are talking about the potential Dancing with the Stars participants. We're also talking about good, bad, and ugly cocktails. Everybody has a story about their bad cocktail experiences, plus your ugly and awkward moments of the week. Thank you so much for listening. Enjoy the show. Welcome to The Ugly Truth. This is episode 491. Ugh. So I read a little blurb. I bet you read it too, because you're pretty good about stuff like this. Dancing with the Stars. There's some leaks about who might be competing.
Oh, I haven't heard that.
Okay, so they're going to be going into a bubble so that they can compete. The rumors right now are Anne Heche, who is...
Oh, God.
I know. Something must be... Because something...
Please quit forcing her on us.
Because she's probably, well, she was in a show, and I guess the show just ended. So my guess is that she's either priming for something big or she's looking for something. And so that's why she's doing it.
Yeah, but like celebrities that do that show, they're like bottom of the barrel people.
I know.
They're like D-listers.
For the most part. AJ McLean from Backstreet Boys.
That'd be cool. He was a super good dancer, so...
Yes, and he posted a photo of himself on Instagram, and he is ripped and super lean, which means he's probably getting prepared. He's gonna win.
He had a really good body. He was a good dancer and a fantastic singer. He just had a really ugly face. That was his problem.
He still does. But that's okay. That's probably why he wore those Frank Sinatra hats all the time, to kind of cover a little, make him look a little cuter.
Well, I mean, my God, when you're co-lead singing with Justin Timberlake, I mean, what the fuck?
No, that's in sync. That's in sync. He was in Backstreet Boys.
AJ McLean. Oh, I was thinking JC Chavez.
No,
he was ugly too.
He was, but no, AJ was the one where everybody was, fresh faced and 16, and he looked 35. So they put him in the back.
AJ. Oh, you know what? Was he short with
yes.
like the beard and stuff?
Yes.
You know, didn't he have a drug problem or something like that?
Well, who didn't back in the 90s? I don't know. He might have.
Oh, it says AJ McLean joining Dancing with the Stars.
Yeah. So the big one is Carol Baskin from Tiger King is supposed to be joining. Yes.
She's going to be the most hated. He's only 42. Are you kidding me?
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, go ahead.
That's all right.
Wow. No. Who?
Yes.
Oh. I hope
everybody's going to watch it.
The first week. I hate her.
Well, everyone hates her.
Wait,
but that's the point.
I thought they were going after her to see if she killed her first husband.
Well, I mean, someone that volatile in media is absolutely going to draw viewers. Even if she only but they're going to keep her for at least 3 weeks so that people will watch her and make fun of her, or she'll be like shockingly graceful. I mean, you never know. So
she does ride bikes, and that takes coordination.
Well, what will be interesting is, honestly, I'm looking forward to hair and makeup doing something with her, because she's ripe for a makeover. So I'm looking forward to that.
Actually, if you see pictures when she's younger, she's actually was not an ugly person. She was
gorgeous. Yeah, she was very beautiful. So anyway, so that's the big exclusive. I hope that's true. I would love to see it. I actually may watch. And then like someone from The Bachelorette and, all the people.
Oh, speaking of,
what?
We never talked about the girl from Sacramento that was going to go on The Bachelorette. Did you hear what happened?
I did. She was on for what? Like not even a month, and then she hooked up with one of the bachelors, and that was the end of it. And she's like left.
So what happened was in between when she was selected and before the show started, she connected with a former bachelor. Mm-hmm. I don't know if he was like in the sea of men or the main man. And they were just chit-chatting, and they started seeing each other, even though I'm sure that was not allowed, and they felt madly in love with each other.
Wait. Was he on the show too, or was he not on the show?
He was from like a previous show.
Okay,
what was her name again? Carly something or
Christy, Carly? I don't know, but she was so this guy she hooked up with was not an active participant in her season that was filming.
No, because she didn't know. No, because it hadn't even started yet. They hadn't even started filming yet. And then so what happened is she literally did like 2 episodes, and then she's like, I can't do this. And so
my God.
She came clean about what was going on. And so they got rid of her, and they brought in another girl who had been
Tayshia,
a bachelorette. Yes.
Fucking love her. Oh, she's my fave. She was in Bachelor in Paradise.
But isn't that hilarious that she would fall in love before she even got onto the freaking show?
You know what's great is that it's going to make for, I mean, I wish we didn't already know about it because it would have been such a major plot twist. But because I'm hooked now. I can't not watch The Bachelor and The Bachelorette. I've only watched The Bachelor. I'm very much looking forward to watching Bachelorette to see what the difference is because they've got to make it. And now, this is someone who's never watched it. So if there's listeners out there who are hardcore fans, I'm sure you can correct me. But to me, it seems like if you're going to film one woman vying for love amongst, 20 guys, you've got to make it so it doesn't look like it's a gangbang, right? I mean, you've got to make it look like there's not something sexual going to happen any minute. Like, how do you do group dates with 7 guys and 1 woman? Like, that seems really inappropriately sexual.
That's why I could never. I mean, that's why I don't think I could have ever done a show like that because I'm kind of like I don't share dick, and so I'm kind of like if I'm sleeping with someone, I'm only sleeping with that person, and if I'm in an evening, if I'm like
one night at a time, please.
But if I'm like drinking or whatever, no, even if I'm kissing someone, I don't think I've kissed a lot of other people that night, and so
yeah, I agree. I've never done that.
I can't do the share like.
Oh, I know.
I don't break the 24-hour rule is what I'm saying, and so
can you imagine?
I couldn't go on like 3 dates in one night and like make out with all 3 of them. I mean, I would feel
that
like
would
the village.
So
I feel like the Village Bicycle or something like that. I couldn't do it.
Can you imagine if somebody had the herp and then there was a bunch of making out and then by like show 6 everybody had a fever blister?
That's disgusting.
I know, but wouldn't it be funny? I mean, I would laugh.
I have a good list here. Meet the cast of Dancing with the Stars season 29.
Tell.
Okay.
Anything good?
Caitlin Bristow?
That's The Bachelorette.
Okay. AJ McLean.
Yes.
In Talks, Carol Baskins.
That's happening.
In Talks, Chriselle Staus, which would be interesting because she is on Netflix Selling Sunset.
Yes. Yes,
she's
I did hear about that.
also works with, I think her name is Heather Rhodes, who is now engaged to Tarek El Moussa,
right?
Which was on Flip or Flop,
right?
And she just, you know what? They're just so fake for each other. It's ridiculous. That in Talks. Anne Heche.
Yes. Which
Maybe that's the Anne you heard of.
That's what I said. I said Anne Heche.
Okay, not participating, Dr. Anthony Fauci.
Yeah, Fauci was asked, and he's like, no, thank you.
We're in the middle of a pandemic. I have better things to do.
I just don't think it's the time.
By giving false information, so...
Yeah, so it'll be interesting. So apparently they're going to introduce as per the usual, it'll be September 2nd. Everybody will come on to Good Morning America. And they'll all be there. So we'll see. Interesting though. So who knows? There was something else I was going to tell you before we started talking about Dancing with the Stars. Oh, okay. I don't know why I did this, but VCRs, Paula, are $300 a piece used.
VCRs?
VCRs. People have decided that they don't like digital anymore and they want something they can hold their hand hold. And so like Disney VHS tapes are going for like $100 and $200.
Wow.
I have so many.
Still have ours. Oh, you do?
I have so many. Well, okay. Daryl can't let go of anything. And so he has any shred of, which will lead me to my next thing I wanted to tell you. He does not like to let go of anything that gives him good memories. And so
he's a hoarder. He's an emotional hoarder.
He's an emotional hoarder. I called him that yesterday. He goes, I am not a hoarder. I'm like, you will save a scrap of paper where I put a heart on it and you'll save it because it means something to you. And
I
he's
told
like,
Victor the same exact thing because we have all these boxes in our garage, and I'm just like, we need to get rid of this stuff. And he's just like, well, what? I'm like, Victor, you have boxes of just random shit. And so we opened a box, and I'm like, what is this? He's like, that is the pen that I used when I was in Iraq. And I'm like, no one cares. And I'm just like, it's a pen. I'm like, take a picture of it, you know? Mm-hmm. But I mean, that's what I heard about people who hoard is, they grow these emotional attachments. Like, okay, this is when Ryan was really little, Victor had brought back from overseas these sodas, and they were all written in Farsi, but they were like 7-Up, Mountain Dew, Dr. Pepper, all that stuff. But they were written in Farsi, and the tabs were really weird. Well, he, when we moved, he had him in this duffel bag because he didn't want anything to happen to him. Well, Ryan found the duffel bag and all he saw was soda. And so he opened them all and he took a sip out of each one of them.
That is hilarious.
Victor got so upset. He wasn't mad at Ryan.
No.
But I mean, it's like his world ended. And we were just talking about that the other day, and Victor's just like, God, he's like, I'm so mad at myself for being so stupid. And I'm like, why? He says, what a dumb thing to get mad about. Because he's just like, it was dumb. He says, but he's like, I remember being so upset. And he's like, and I'm just mad at myself for being that mad,
Oh, please. Welcome to the world. We've all, I punish myself for shit I did 20 years ago.
But I'm like, well, yeah, at the time it was pretty stupid. And so
it was dumb. It was dumb then and it's dumb now.
Because I remember it. I'm like, well, we still have the cans. I'm like, they just don't have the soda in them. And he's like, I know. He says, but for some reason, I just thought, I would save. I'm like, save them for what?
For what?
And I'm just like, what were you going to do with them? What were they going to be collector's items? Farsi 7-Up from, I'm like, I'm sure you could go over there today and buy the same thing.
I was going to say, you can probably buy a 6-pack over there if you want.
For like 5 cents.
And then drink them all and buy more.
And so anyways, but we still have the cans. And so he saved the cans. And I'm like, that's the thing with you, Victor. I'm like, you save these things and we still have them. And then there's times, Jamie, I kid you not, my wedding dress that when him and I got married, it's got a giant coffee stain, something. And I think it's because I threw it in the trash. He went and got it out of the trash.
Why?
And he has it hanging up in the garage. He's like, what if Olivia wants it? I'm like, she will not want that. I'm like, I got it at Macy's for $199.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
it's just a dress.
I hope our daughter will want more than that.
Right.
I'm like, I bought it in a pinch because we were getting married in 3 weeks.
That's hilarious.
So
that is true. In fact, we had this discussion on the same level. We had this discussion last night. We were laying there and, okay, I'm going to try to make this a quick story so that I can get to the point. Daryl uses some aftershave and it comes in a glass bottle with a lid. And on the lid, a long time ago, I put I love you on it because he was taking it when he was traveling so much. And that's it.
You wish you had never done that.
You're correct. So now, whenever...
Just don't write cute shit anymore. Just leave everything blank and sterile.
So whenever he needs new aftershave, he insists on the same brand so that he can replace the new lid with the old lid that has the writing on it.
Why don't you just write that on any new aftershave?
So I ordered him some new aftershave, and the company has upgraded their bottle to a better lid. Uh-oh. He was devastated. He goes, I don't know what to do. And I go, what do you mean? He goes, the new aftershave has a different lid. I'm going to have to buy you a silver Sharpie so that you can write on it. And I said, here's the thing. I go, when I do stuff like that, it is spur of the moment. It is just because I was being a dork in the bathroom and I found a Sharpie and I decided to draw on something. It's nothing like, there wasn't a lot of thought into it. I mean, obviously I love you, but it wasn't one of those things where I'm like, he's going to love this. It's going to make me the best wife ever. I just did it. It was not anything. It was spur of the moment.
We'll have that moment when we're 90 and be like, look, it's the aftershave.
Yeah, I had to do it. So I put a little heart on it. I said, hey, I still love you. That's what I put on the bottle. And so he went in there. He's like, oh, he was so moved.
Why do you indulge that behavior?
I I even said that. I go, I'm so codependent. Why did I do that? I should have just let it go and we could have broken it and it would have been done.
The moment he said, I'll get you a silver Sharpie so you can write it again, I would be like, I'm not dignifying that with a response.
I know. So I said, all right. I said, can I throw the other cap away? He will not allow it. He wants the cap. And I said, okay. So in my mind, I'm going,
so what are you going to do? Drill 2 holes in it and like put a beaded chain through it like a military
so
dog
he can
tag?
wear it?
And then he could wear it. You know he would.
This is
you take your shirt off one night like in, Crazy Stevie Sex and you'd be like, what is this? He's like, nothing.
It's just my lid.
Or you'd walk in the living room and he'd have the cap in his nose and you'd be smelling it. You're like, what are you doing? He's like, nothing.
So I told the girls, I said, look, if I die before he does, I'm like, you're going to have to eliminate everything because he will turn this house into a shrine and then nothing will be thrown away and it will become unbearable for everyone. So please.
He'll bring a woman home and then she'll be like,
what the hell?
I thought you said you weren't married. I'm not. I'm a widow.
Well, what is this?
It sure doesn't look like it. What are these? Why do you have a pair of women's shoes on this pillow?
Because that's where they've always been.
I just like to spell them at night before I go to bed.
That's just where they were. It's like, what is this?
Are these dirty? Are these dirty panties? What is this?
What is this shape?
Oh, sorry. Let me just put those under my pillow. No, don't. I'm not sleeping with you with dirty panties under your pillow.
It's like, why does this side of the bed have a hat, a sweater, a dress, shoes, underwear, and a bra over here just laying? This is so strange.
Is this sheet crunchy?
What is happening?
Have you not changed the sheets? I thought you said your wife died 6 years ago.
She did. Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, he's definitely an emotional hoarder, but it's not out of control. Like, there's not, piles of shit everywhere in the garage, but he definitely could, if allowed to run free, he definitely would. So thankfully I'm the opposite. I save nothing like our parents. And so it's not, it's a fine balance, luckily. But the other night, okay, so here's the truth, the ugly truth. I am perimenopausal, but I'm still having my period every month. Mm-hmm. So I am recently have noticed that I'm running hot constantly. Mm-hmm. Now, I'm not having hot flashes, but I'm definitely running hot all the time. I don't sweat. I've seen women, unfortunately, poor women who out of nowhere will suddenly break into a flop sweat where they're just pouring water out of their bodies. And I feel for them so bad. That's never happened to me. I'm not saying it will or won't, but I've never seen our mom do that. So I'm assuming we probably don't have that.
In our family, and I think we get it from Dad, we're not sweaters.
We're not.
Well, that sounds funny. We're not sweaters. We don't sweat. And I don't know if it's the Native American part of us, but and this is something that every man I've ever had sex with,
right,
they always claim they're going to make me sweat. And I'm like, no,
whatever.
No, you're not. And then there was the one that could have sworn he was making me sweat. And I'm like,
no, that's you.
I said, no, that's you dripping on me.
And that's happened to me
I said,
too.
in fact, I'd appreciate it if we could get a towel. And so
yeah, can you wipe yourself, please?
I said, because that drip on the tip of your nose is going to make me puke. And
that happened. Oh my God, that happened to me once during sex. I looked up and I couldn't even enjoy it. I was so focused on the drip on his neck or on his nose, and I'm like, it's going to fall on me. It's like the cigarette ash on 16 Candles when the grandma was holding that ash over the pan. At any moment, it's going to fall into the food. I'm like, any minute now, that thing's going to fall on me, and it's going to end in my mouth or something.
Don't you think they noticed the wincing right eye and like the slightly turned head and the look on your face, and they're like, what's wrong? You're just like, you just kind of have like a drip of sweat on your nose, and I'm afraid it's gonna fall on me. And they're like, oh, sorry.
Yeah, then
and you're
they
like,
apologize.
no, like we need to like take this to the shower or something like this. Like I can't do this anymore.
Yeah, it's really distracting.
Like
so
it's got or the air conditioner. Can we turn it to like 60 or
anything? Like, can we cool it off here?
Let me get on top for a while. You've been working pretty hard.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. I mean, it's been 5 whole minutes, so
let gravity take its course.
So anyway, the last couple of nights I have a fan in my room now, and I've been turning the fan on at night so that I can just do whatever. And then I turn it off when Daryl comes to bed because it's really loud and stuff. So anyway, last night we're sitting on the deck trying not to die of lung cancer. And he said, yeah, I've noticed that you've been leaving the air conditioner on kind of low at night. And I said, yeah. And he said, and I wake up and you're like you're barely in a sheet because you're so hot. He goes, I'm actually really kind of cold. And I said, what's your point? And he's like, I'm just saying I'm cold. And I'm like, okay, well,
I'll buy you some footy pajamas.
grab a
pussy.
blanket because this is our life now. And I mean,
You know what? I'm going to send him a pair of footy pajamas and say, stay warm.
Merry Christmas.
Yeah, really.
Because he mentioned it twice. And I said, I didn't lose my temper or anything, but I'm just like, this is your life now. I mean, I don't even know what to tell you.
Him. You should just say, well, Tyler's moving out in a couple of weeks. I could just get my own room.
I have been asking for my own room for 20 years, Paula.
Really?
Oh my God, I want my own room so bad. I'm not saying I would live in it and sleep in it, but I want my own room so badly.
A lot of couples do that. And then they just meet each other for conjugal visits.
I would never do it where I'd be like, all right, see you tomorrow. It wouldn't be nothing like that. But I would love the idea of being able to retreat into, I think that's where the she shed came from.
Okay, that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my life.
Well, whatever.
And in fact, I saw a house flipper thing where they actually built a she shed. And I'm just like, you actually think you're going to resell a home with a fucking she shed? I'm just like, no couple is going to come home and be like, oh, look, it's got a she shed. And the husband's just going to be like, I think my penis just shriveled into my throat. I can't knowingly buy a home that has a she shed.
Well, I think what they call it is you probably take it apart and just say that it's a yoga studio or an office
or like
something.
A craft room or junk room. I mean, I think it's good to have like maybe a guest bedroom, but you can decorate it however you want. You can put your stuff in there. You can maybe if it's got extra like cabinets, you can put you can finally swap out your winter and summer clothes. So have
cool.
a place.
Yeah.
And
instead of
God forbid, they just all sit in the hamper like mine do. Until I was just like, well, I guess I should dig out, the old winter clothes and find a pair of crunchy underwear. And you're just like, oh, that's where they went.
Those got folded into the hoodie. Oops.
I used to love these.
Yeah. So anyway, I mean, for a while I was trying to just act like, well, you know what? I'm too young. There's no way this is what it is, blah, blah, blah. But the reality is that it is what it is. And you know what really pissed me off? This always pisses me off. And I don't know. I think it's a little unreasonable, but I really don't give a shit. These huge name celebs decide to delve into podcasting. And it really pisses me off because we work so goddamn hard for our 3,000 downloads or whatever it is that we get. Or actually 5 on some months.
I thought it was better than that.
No, it is better than that.
You've been lying to me.
No.
You're just doing that to string me along.
No. They're actually every day. Daryl checks the downloads. He goes, we had a record day. And I'm like, again? He goes, again? I'm like, this is amazing. I'm so excited.
You know what? You should start logging those every time he says a record day. I'd be like, actually, no, that's not correct because July of 2017, the 14th, you said we had a record day and it was actually higher than what you're saying today.
All right.
So don't come at me with record days, sir.
Listen to me, good sir.
Good day, sir. I said good day.
Yeah. Oh, that's funny. So anyway, it kind of pisses me off. So anyway, Michelle Obama has a podcast that of course has blown up. It has blown up.
Listening to her is like listening to liquid gold. I'm not gonna lie.
I know. She's an amazing speaker.
Everything she says is like a one-liner from freaking Leonardo da Vinci.
So she decided to get real about the fact that she went through menopause when she was the first lady, the second term. And she's like, it's very, very difficult, as you can imagine, to be the first lady in any situation, but then to be going through a hormonal change when you were in the public eye literally every moment of your life, hot flashes, sweats, whatever you go through, bloating, weight gain, all that stuff happens. She's like, it was brutal. So of course she's being lauded as this honest woman who's finally brought menopause to the masses. And I'm like, I have been talking about perimenopause for 6 months and no one is saying anything.
Okay, but Jamie, she's
Paula, I know,
lady in the public, and not to mention that particular presidency was by far like the most difficult one. I mean, people were claiming he wasn't even an American citizen for fuck's sake.
I know,
and so I mean,
I am not minimizing the hell that she went through.
They were taking images of his head on a stake, and just because he was black, and
I know.
their children were, being called horrible names. And I'm just saying, like,
add that to menopause.
The bravery they endured. I mean, can you imagine how many times she probably wanted to lose her shit? Like,
a lot. I mean, especially
being in the public eye, she probably stared at the microphone so many times. It's just like, I just want to.
She's like, I just want to tell everyone.
Fuck you!
And
Double fingers.
Given the hormones, oh my God.
Well, and then she had the children's garden, the fresh vegetable garden, and she probably, like, the kids are probably like, this is boring. Can we go play video games? She's just like, listen, you little shit. You're
doing
fat as fuck. Eat a vegetable.
Eat a piece of fruit. Yeah.
That's all I want is for you to be fucking healthy.
God, is that such a crime in this country? I know. Wouldn't it be funny if they were like legit honest with what they were thinking in their brain versus what they had to do?
She would never do that. She's such
of course
lady.
Not. None of them would. But anyway, so I was like, God damn it. I'm like, you know what though? That's fine. I'm glad that she made it, I'm glad she made it, appetizing for the masses to discuss that all women go through hormone changes, whether you're 12 or 100. There's always a hormone change. It's like our fucking curse. I don't understand it, but it is what it is. Men can get women pregnant at 80, but women are dried up old day old bread at 45, so here we are. So I'm like, that's fine. So the reality is that yes, I'm running hot. Daryl has decided to notice, and I'm telling him to suck it up. It's going to be 60 degrees in this fucking room if I want it to be, with fans blowing.
I'd be like, there's a theory I have. I don't like people who bring problems to my attention without a solution. So unless you have a suggestion or a solution, don't bring it to my attention.
Just deal with the cold.
I said because I don't see the point, because I'm not Nostradamus or Jesus, or
I can't solve it for you.
I'm not going to solve your problems for you. So
it's true.
Unless you have a suggestion or something that we can actually discuss that will come to a resolution, shove it.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, it is true though. I'm super uncomfortable. So what are you going to do?
Well, see, I've been going through this phase because I think I know that I'm getting to like my final years of,
being able to have a baby.
Yes. And it makes me so sad. I almost cried the other day because it's like, well, what prompted it is I happened to catch a glimpse of an article that said Amy Schumer can't have any more kids.
Yeah.
And it's not that she can't. She has one viable egg. One.
Okay.
She said that what she went through with her son, she says, realistically speaking, she says, I just absolutely cannot do that again.
No.
She's like, I can't. And she
she was so sick.
She says the risk of it happening, and she says the thought of having to do it again, she's like, I just can't.
No.
She says, we've thought about doing a surrogate. She's like, we haven't entirely ruled that out. Mm-hmm. But she says, I know for me personally, I cannot carry another child.
Yeah.
And so I was thinking, I get it. And, when I was younger, I always wanted 4 kids of my own.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I know that seems like a lot, but to me, I always viewed it as doable because I love kids, like my own kids. And I just knew that I had enough love for all of my own.
Right.
But what I didn't realize is that pregnancy was going to be so difficult on me.
Yeah.
And so it made me sad because I was just like, well, dang, I didn't know it was, I didn't realize that not everybody was good with pregnancy.
No, they're not. Some women just sail through Daryl's daughter is just sailing through her pregnancy. Like no morning sickness, no achiness. She's tired, but nothing. Like she is just having the best pregnancy ever.
Was her mom like that, or?
Her mom claims that she was sick every day of her pregnancy. She didn't have the Amy Schumer or what you had, but she never felt great. And so which is absolutely possible. I mean, but Natalie is just like blowing through this like it was not, because I even asked her that. I said, was your mom like this when she had you? And she said she was sick like 6 months. And I said, wow, okay, well, lucky you.
A lot has to do with how well you take care of yourself too, though.
Ugh, I wish it's so true. Anyway, we're going to do a good, bad, and ugly today.
Yes.
The good, the bad, the ugly, cocktails. And the reason that I just suggested cocktails to you the other day was I was listening to the Adam Carolla show, and they have this guy that comes on, and he introduces them to different kinds of alcohols that, new brands or whatever. And on this one, he was showing them the variety of martinis. And I know that you love a good dirty martini.
Absolutely.
And so they literally they made like three or four different types of martinis. And they started, proceeded to enjoy every single one. I thought, oh my gosh, I remember Paula always saying that she loved a good dirty martini. And I don't remember exactly how you like it, but I'm sure you'll tell me. But I thought, we should do good, bad, and ugly cocktail edition, because I'm a very simple girl, and martini seems so confusing and sophisticated to me. So anyway, so let's do it. So what is your good cocktail?
So a good cocktail, well, it is a dirty martini.
Okay. How do you like yours?
I do mine with vodka instead of gin.
Okay.
Because I don't like gin. I think it smells like pine needles and tastes like, I don't know, toilet water. and plus it's just very old man tasting. They do with a classic martini, they do the gin, they do a vermouth, and I think they do like a splash of bitters and then some kind of like lemon or lime wedge. And that's the martini. And then to make it dirty there's the green olives. They'll put those in there, and then they pour the green olive juice in there, so it makes it kind of tangy.
Yeah, brainy.
So with mine, I do mine with vodka because I like vodka. I don't think they do any kind of vermouth or bitters in there. I think it literally is just straight vodka and green olive juice, to be honest. They might do a little splash of vermouth. I'm not positive.
I think to make it a martini, they probably got to do something. Although someone did say on the show, they were talking about there are bars in LA who they don't even do vermouth. It's just a double shot of either gin or vodka, the stripe of the citrus, and then if you want olives or whatever, onion or whatever in it, and that's it.
Right. And so I get mine extra dirty because a lot of times if they don't, I think the vermouth, it just adds something to it. I think I don't know if it tames it or if it just adds it an extra layer of flavor, because drinking straight vodka is, it's tough. And so I have to get an extra little something to kind of tame it down. So I get extra dirty. I get mine with Grey Goose. I don't know why. I like the flavor better.
Yeah.
I mean, if for whatever reason they don't have Grey Goose, I'll do Kettle One. But
rocket.
Yeah. So I don't ever not do Top Shelf anymore. it's
not worth it.
Well, I just don't see the point.
Yeah. Why bother?
It's like, and when I see the little gun and I see the alcohol, I'm like, oh God. I'm like, who does that?
21-year-olds who only have $5.
When they're like $2 wells, and I'm like, ugh. I'm like, $2 throw up hangover, die tomorrow.
Yeah, you get what you pay for on that one. So I figured that's what yours was. Mine is actually, I had to really think about it, but I really come down to this. My good cocktail is a Top Shelf classic margarita on the rocks, no salt. And it has to obviously be top shelf. The latest tequila I love is called Asunia, which is an organic tequila that I was introduced to by this Mexican restaurant we go to. There is nothing better than an ice cold, perfectly mixed cocktail like a margarita. And I don't mean the shit margaritas that you get at the bar that are, basically Slurpees, sugary Slurpees. I'm talking, and see, for me, the classic margarita for me, I hate that. I don't like the sweet and sour. What's that liqueur that they put in to make it sweet?
Oh, just the typical sweet and sour mix.
Yeah, I hate it.
Oh,
what is that stuff called?
Shit. I know
Not simple syrup. It's something else.
Yeah.
Mine is tequila, lime juice, a little bit of the simple syrup, a lime on the rocks. That is it. And it is delicious. And I can have way too many of those and feel amazing. It's my favorite. And tequila, I guess if I ever did it for anything, I would get hungover eventually. But tequila, I tend to recover almost immediately, which is great.
What is that stuff called?
Huh?
I'm trying to find what the stuff is called. It's when I was orange program.
Oh, yeah. I can't remember.
What the hell is it called? I know what it is.
I know, but you know what? I because I don't use it anymore, I've kind of like taken it out of my brain. I can't remember the name of it either.
Of course, I'm looking at like 15 recipe.
And like Daryl, he's like,
triple sec.
God damn it. Yes, triple sec.
God, why couldn't I think of that?
Triple sec is like just way too sweet. It has like a chemical taste to me. I don't like it.
It's kind of just like sweet and sour mix, but it's like, it's kind of like cough syrup consistency.
Yeah. Not a fan. Okay, so what's your bad cocktail?
You know, anything that
has a story attached to it.
No, anything that's like a fruity, stupid cocktail that doesn't actually have hard liquor in it, like an apple teeny or a lemon drop or a purple hooter or
trendy, sugary, sweet.
I mean, with the exception of White Russians. No, those actually have alcohol in it. Actually, they have a lot of alcohol in it.
Yeah.
But like, you know, the latest thing, like Scooby snacks or, you know, like just the stuff that it's just like, what the hell is that? Like, who drinks that? You know, like
children.
When they came out with apple teenies, they're like, oh, these apple teenies. I'm like, a what? And I'm just like, an apple teeny? I'm like, that sounds stupid.
Well, because it doesn't taste like alcohol. That's why they like it.
And so, or, you know, the Sex on the Beach, Alabama Slammer, you know.
Oh, those are hardcore bar drinks.
Seabreeze and you know, but I mean, they're all just made with like Grand Marnier, grenadine, and, you know, freaking, I don't know, triple sec. And
vodka.
I actually don't even think they have that. I think they mostly are just like, you know, like the Grand Marnier is the alcohol.
Sex on the Beach is incredibly alcoholic. So is an Alabama Slammer. Oh, yes.
Or like a Long Island iced tea.
Oh, my God. That's got 5 different boozes in it. It's just what they do, though, is they put a shit ton of crappy booze in it, and then they pour something that's like sugar in it.
Coke.
Or juice. And then you suck them down and you're like, this is a treat that's hard to beat, you know?
Or an adios motherfucker or...
Yeah, the trend...
The redheaded slut. You know, it's just like all of those kinds of drinks. I'm just like...
Not a fan.
God. You know, or the kind like where you drop the shot glass and whatever juice mixture is there and then you slam the whole thing.
Oh, like an Irish car bomb?
Yeah, I did this one was called a redheaded slut. Basically, it was like half orange juice, half Red Bull... And then the shot glass had 151, a splash of grenadine, and a splash of what's the orange liqueur called?
Oh, Orgeat.
No, it was Grand Marnier.
Oh, Grand Marnier, yeah.
And then you drop the shot glass in the glass, and then you chug the whole thing.
Ugh, that makes me want to throw up.
I had 4 of those, Jamie. I was so fucking hungover the next day. I was driving to another location because it was during the week, and I was driving to a work location. I came to a stop sign. I opened my door and I threw up.
Oh yeah,
on my way to the office.
Yeah, it's horrible. Okay, so my bad cocktail actually has a story to it. It's called a BMW, and it's basically the kind of drinks that you don't like. It was Bailey's, Malibu rum, and whiskey.
Ugh.
Now, it sounds like it wouldn't taste good, but the Malibu rum was pineapple. And so they mix it, and it has like, it looks like it's all cool layered, whatever. Mm-hmm. So they taste really, really good, which means they're super duper dangerous. And I was at a naughty lady party, and there was about 30 other women there, and they're like, drink of the night, BMWs. I'm like, all right, cool. So I start drinking. I'm like, oh, these are really great, because you got to loosen up if you're going to be around a bunch of women buying dildos. Yeah. So that was the night that I bought my first silver bullet. So something good did come out of it. I had probably 4, and I was stupid drunk. My friend, we did not want the party to end, so we went to a bar, and we're playing pool.
Oh my God. Were you with Daryl at this point?
So that's the thing is, I was so drunk that I can't remember. I'm pretty sure I was, though, because if it was Kim, we were there, I'm sure, because he remembers coming to pick me up at the bar.
Oh,
because
no.
I called him and said, yeah, I mean, you need to come and get me because this ain't going to work. And he's all, didn't Kim drop you off? And I'm like, I don't think so. I think Tom came and got her. because we were both hammered at this point. And so Daryl came and picked me up. I didn't even I threw up in the bushes immediately.
Oh, God.
I told him, I said, I'm telling you, I cannot remember going home. I cannot remember where I was living. When I look back on that evening, it's one of the only nights where I literally have zero memory of what happened after the 4th BMW. I'm like, no clue. I was hungover for 2 solid days.
Yeah.
And I think I went sober for like a year after that. I had never been so sick in my life. I'm sure I had alcohol poisoning. I don't drink like that.
Did.
And so it was insane. And I said, I will never again ever have that kind of drink. Those are the kind of drinks you're saying are bad. It is true. They are terrible for you and they're dangerous. It was awful. I'm like, never again. And who drinks Baileys? Jesus.
Actually, I'm kind of surprised because isn't Bailey's more of like
it's a coffee liqueur.
Yeah, I thought it was kind of like a milk dairy based.
Oh God, I just
product.
I just
remember doing these shots called blowjobs, and
I remember those.
The reason why I did like 6 of them, and the only reason why I did so many is because I couldn't get my mouth around the shot, and so I kept trying because I'm just like, I can do this. I'm like, I know I can.
Yeah.
And so by the 6th one, I had finally accepted defeat, and I'm just like, well, I guess I just can't, But by then I was so fucking wasted that because I had done 6 of them.
Oh, God.
But you don't think about that. You don't think about I'm ingesting alcohol, large quantities every time.
Very large quantities for our size. Okay, and so what is your ugly cocktail or drink?
Okay, so you said it was a margarita. I don't think you can go wrong with. Now, I do like mine blended. I've never cared for them over the rocks.
On the rocks?
I like the big rounded glass with the salted rim.
Oh, you like old school.
Yeah, I don't like strawberry or anything like that. I just like the green margaritas with the salted rim and the little red straw that pokes out. I do like mine top shelf. I will probably do like some kind of like reposado or like a... I don't usually do Patron because you can't really tell the difference.
No, Patron is not meant for that. It's meant for sipping.
Yeah, some kind of like gold, like maybe some kind of gold tequila, whatever that they recommend. That's decent.
Yeah, there's some good ones.
I'm not usually good at selecting a tequila for margaritas, and then and the salted rim, and then that's it. But I mean, tequila margaritas they just give you the best buzz ever.
Oh, they're so good. They're so good.
So you really can't go wrong with them. And actually, I think tequila is the only alcohol that's actually an upper. So
I love tequila. Nom, 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 nom. It's my favorite.
Although if I smell it like on its own, God,
you'll think of some really terrible hangover you had.
I'll think of a lot of really terrible. Think of one time I got so drunk on tequila, I actually threw up on a stuffed animal and. I just remember the white fur with like chunks of puke in it. And I was just like, God, this is embarrassing.
My worst puking episodes via alcohol is because I always mix my booze. That's the only time I ever throw up is when I try to drink several types of cocktail. It's so dumb. And I never learn my lesson. It's so stupid. You're feeling so good. You're like, yeah, I'll try one, but you can't do it. Okay, so my ugly cocktail is a super ice cold tall glass of La Reve Rosé from Domaine Carneros. It's champagne. It will be my signature. It'll be my signature cocktail at my funeral. Everybody will drink a glass of it. That is it for me. However, going ugly, I was trying to think about what we drink together, and Daryl's like, "Oh, well, it's got to be the Cosmopolitan." I'm like, we did that a couple times, but honestly, we drink beer. We drink beer.
We do.
We drink beer together, and it's fun. We drink shitty beer, and it's like my most favorite thing is that we get pitchers of beer and we just guzzle it down and go karaoke.
Yep, beer's fun. I like it.
It is. So that to me, I was a toss up. So I would say beer though, just because it reminds me of when we go out together. So
beer buzzes are fun too.
I love beer buzzes. I am such a happy girl on beer. It's my fave. It's better than any other buzz I have, actually.
Yeah.
It really
it's a
is.
good time.
It is a good time. Daryl's really quick. His good is an old fashioned. His bad is a blue Hawaiian. Because apparently in college he had an experience.
Oh, I was going to say, did he get drunk in Hawaii on one?
No. He apparently he went to Sac State, and it was his freshman year, and they did this thing in his dorm where it was like around the world drinking. So every room had a themed cocktail. And he's like, by the time I got back from class or whatever, he goes, there was only a couple rooms left that had booze, and the one was the blue Hawaiian room. So I went in there, and he goes, and I had way too many. And I remember physically sliding down the wall and then turning over and throwing up blue.
Well,
so,
yeah. I mean, it's blue.
That'll do it.
And they kind of taste like Gatorade a little bit, if I can remember. And
I've never had one, but I would assume that's
when we went to Hawaii,
sweet.
They had like 3 drinks. They had pina coladas, Mai Tais, and blue Hawaiis. That's what they had.
Yes.
I mean, unless you went to a bar.
Sure.
But those were like the core drinks that they offered.
Yes, they are.
And so...
and then his ugly drink is a Bloody Mary because he can drink those anywhere.
Those.
Oh, yeah.
Stephanie likes those too, though.
I know. I don't
understand the people who likes the Bloody Marys that have like the fucking buffet coming out of them.
know.
With, like,
it's so weird.
Cheeseburgers and, a slice of pizza. And,
It's like drinking a meal all in one.
I'm just like, how do you even get to the drink? I'm like, without, the 7-course meal and like, a bowl of pudding and, all that stuff.
A lobster tail.
Yeah, really. I'm just like,
weird.
what is this?
I know.
Okay, that'll be $35. I would imagine. So
Yeah, it's like, no kidding. Is this brunch or the bar?
I don't know how to.
Anyway, so yeah. Okay.
What would you guys like to order? Actually, I'm full, so.
Yeah, actually, I'm all right. Thank you for my cocktail. God. All right. Okay, so our final segment today, we're going to do some ugly and awkward moments of the week. We had some submissions. I've been holding on to them for a while because we've been doing some other themed ones, but it's time to share the listeners' stories with you of their awkward moments. These are 2 very good ones. The first one comes from Raina. Hello, Raina. She says, I've been working from home since March, and pants are optional these days since we never have to do Zoom calls or anything like that. My dog was outside, but he had broken out of the fence, and he likes to mess with our neighbor's goats. So I was going to let him in because I heard him barking. I opened the door, and here comes my neighbor with my dog, and here I am about to walk right outside with just a t-shirt and my underwear. Mm-hmm. She totally saw me, so I quickly hid my body behind the door and just poked my little head out, yelled, "Thank you!" This was the first time I've ever seen this neighbor other than the occasional wave from far away. So.
You know what? I'm telling you, I can't remember the last time I wore pants unless I was leaving the house. I mean, I'm pretty much a t-shirt, tank top, and underwear person these days.
Yes.
I just don't see the point.
Well, I agree. And what's funny is when you're especially if you're like really knee deep into work or maybe you're helping your kids with school and you're just wearing like, skivvies and a t-shirt because why not? And then all of a sudden life actually comes to your door and you completely forget that it's not, you're not you're presently dressed for human consumption. So
right.
You open the door wide. Hey, you're just like, oh, period day. Okay. Thank you. Here's your dog who tried to eat my goat.
Yeah, really. Well, and then the other thing too is I haven't worn a bra and I can't even remember when. And
yes.
I was looking in the mirror the other day when I got out of the shower and I'm just like, are my boobs starting to sag? So I was kind of like,
maybe I should put a bra on.
Doing my own measurements from like the clavicle to the nipple. And I'm like, that looks kind of long. And so I started like lifting them and like turning sideways and then like sucking in and everything like that. I'm like, so if I got like a lift, I'm like, do they have to put an implant in there? Or I'm like, how does that work? And so
I don't know. I think it's just a skin thing.
Well, I mean, I would think so too, but I don't know that's I don't think skin works that way because I think it would just stretch out again if you have like really big boobs.
I would think eventually, yeah.
So I think they do have to do like an implant under the muscle to kind of poof it up at the top.
Perhaps. I don't know. I mean, but I'm with you.
I just don't think I think I don't like the whole sagging process. I feel like I'm leaning forward and everything's just falling.
I know.
And, my face, my neck, my boobs, my
everything.
I don't know. I feel like I'm just, Quasimodo and
starting to look like a Shar-Pei when you'd bend over.
I'm like, it's like I need to go hooking or something. Not like hookering, but like those people that like get those hooks in their backs and everything stretches.
Just push it all, pull it. You like gather all the skin and put it into a man bun on your back.
Something. Or like, what are those tape things that people keep doing? Like they hide the tape and they stretch their face or something.
Lady
like
Gaga
that.
does that.
I don't know. I got to figure out something, but
don't forget about your frownies.
Oh God, I've seen those things. I'm like, I need a facey. I don't know what it is.
A whole facey. Yeah. So, Raina, I hope that you've had a different interaction with your pants on with your neighbor now at this point.
I don't
pet
care
the goat.
if I had my choice, I'd put on flip-flops and just go check my mail as is.
I'd be like, what? This is my life now.
What are they going to do?
Yeah.
None of our neighbors, none of us talk.
No one cares.
What are you gonna do? Come talk to me? Go ahead. I dare you.
Well, the neighbor was awfully friendly. That's the other thing. I'd be like, why are you charging up so briskly with a friendly face? I'm like, I don't want to do that. Thank you. I don't do that. It's like,
I mean, the only thing I can think of is I might try and like slyly open the door, and then one of the dogs would get out and I'd be like, God damn it. And then I'd have to like, and it'd probably be some guy trying to sell solar panels or something like that.
We had somebody,
I'm like, we rent,
We had somebody come to our door the other day for pest control.
Oh God, we get that all the time.
And I'm like, it's a quarantine. What are you doing?
And they're
just surprised.
We're going to be in the neighborhood this Saturday spraying a bunch of your neighbors.
Oh, they always
and I'm
lie.
I'm like, you're full of shit. I'm like,
I
you
know.
say that, but I never see anyone on the Saturday. And regardless, I rent. They handle the pest control. I don't have any say. So
the guy that came to our door, I told her, I'm like, just answer it. Maybe it's not a sales prayer. I mean, we're in the middle of a fucking pandemic. There's no way they're doing door-to-door sales. Well, I was deadly wrong. So Daryl answers the door. Now, here's the thing with Daryl. He appreciates salespeople because of his work. So he's not a big fan of being rude. I will be rude many times. So I can hear her going, well, we don't really have a problem with that. I was seconds away from getting up and coming in and going, go away, and just slamming the door. But he finally came back and he goes, well, he gave me a name of a neighbor that I've never heard of before and says they're being treated for cockroaches. I'm like, well, we don't have fucking cockroaches at all.
They're everywhere this year.
We don't have them at all.
Well, when I say everywhere, I mean, we see like one every like third night, and they're these huge ones.
In your house?
No, outside.
Oh, yeah.
And like one night, if you have like the patio lights off, you see something on the ground. I'm like, is that a mouse? And so I'll turn on the light, and it's just this giant roach. And like the dogs will sniff it and chase it. And I'm just like, what? I'm like, what is he doing here? I'm like, where's he going?
I've never seen one here.
But they're rampant this year for some reason. Like everybody's complaining about. Like
actually,
I belong to all these neighborhoods, sites that I just despise. But
probably because all the restaurants are at half capacity, they're not getting fed.
I don't know, but they said that. We live by a field too, and so they say that depending on where you live. Although they said, Mom told me a long time ago that there's field roaches, and the pest control guy said there's no such thing as a field cockroach. He says there's just cockroaches.
It's just cockroach.
And he says, but I mean, he's like, they do kind of just travel around. He says one of your neighbors might like have like they may not maintain their trash very well, or they might have like stuff in their backyard,
right.
And he says so they might just like pass through to get there, and so he says, but usually if you see him, it's because there's something somewhere, and he says not necessarily in your backyard, but he's like around, and so we have seen them ever since we moved here.
True.
So there's probably got to be some sort of hoarding pig in this neighborhood.
Gross.
I wouldn't be surprised if I saw Dr. Zazio, the blonde lady. She lives here in Sacramento.
Come to organize someone's home.
Oh my God. Have I told you I found animal hoarders on Prime, Amazon Prime?
Oh no.
I like that one. Animal hoarders.
I can't with those. They make me sad.
Well, they
poor
don't make
animals.
Me sad. Well, I mean, I don't get sad because they always get rescued because they don't let them keep the sick ones.
And then not only that, but then they come and then you find one flattened one under a box somewhere.
They're just like, it's Sparky. We thought he ran away. And it's
he just got killed by this giant box.
It's flat and its teeth are all,
I just can't with it. Okay, here's the second one. Oh shit, I didn't write down who this is from. Well, you know who you are. I was in a hurry trying to get out the door to get to work. so that's already ripe for an awkward moment.
Okay.
I went to grab something out of the pantry closet, but in my rush, I couldn't wait for the door to open fully. I smacked the right side of my face, including my eye, into the door. Mm-hmm. I went to the bathroom mirror, and it didn't look that bad. Maybe a little blue. Maybe a little blue.
Look too soon. Far too soon.
Yeah, maybe a little blue. So I thought that this is something I would do. So I thought a little blue eyeshadow would blend it in and hide it.
You get to work and you look like a domestic violence victim.
Exactly. She said, boy, was I wrong. So the worst part is my husband and I worked together. And so he caught hell all day long about how he must have given me a black eye. So when I first read that, I thought, did he? But knowing how awkward people, when they share stories, how awkward we are, I absolutely 100% believe that she punched herself in the face with the pantry door. No doubt. I've done it.
I was in bed one time and I punched myself in the eye so hard because I went to go bat a freaking mosquito away from my ear. Because you'll be laying there and all of a sudden you hear,
yes.
And you're like, ah! Yes. And so I went to go hit it and I punched myself in the eye really hard. And it's like, it started watering and I'm like, that hurts. And I'm just like, what? It was like when I went and got my swab test for the COVID-19. I couldn't put the nasal swab in my nose without looking in the mirror. Because, what is that, like not being ambidextrous or something? I don't know how you would call that. But it's just like, I wasn't like, I don't know. I couldn't do it. I was just like, I had no depth perception, or I don't know what it is.
Well, we definitely have a peripheral depth perception issue, I think. That's why we are so clumsy. But one time I did the same thing. There was some kind of bug buzzing around. I slapped my face so hard that, I mean, I don't think a man could have hit me that hard. It was hard. I was like, and I remember what I did. I stunned myself and I'm like, why did I do that? It was crazy.
Well, and it's the same thing where, like, remember that one time I told you I was living with Mom. I was still a teenager, and we had like a bunch of people over at the house for like a dinner or something like that. And the back door kept getting opened and shut, and so there was like flies in the kitchen. And so I finally saw one, and I had the fly swatter, and I swung at it so hard, but I failed to see beyond that Mom was bent over getting something in the dishwasher. I slapped her in the back really hard. And she turned around and she grabbed my arm really hard. And she's like, that really hurt.
I'm going to pee my pants.
And I'm like, sorry.
Oh my God, I'm going to pee my pants. Stop.
But I don't even know if it hurt her. She was just more embarrassed by the fact that I slapped her in the back with a fly swatter. In front of all those people. Because Mom, she can't not, which is funny because she's not even cool in the first place, but she can't not look cool.
Oh, God, no.
I was like, in my mind, I'm like, I'm going to get this fucking fly. And so I was like, whack! And I missed it, but I did not miss Mom.
No. So. That is so funny. I remember that, though. I remember it.
Oh, my God.
Holy shit, that's so funny.
But see, that's the thing is, it's like the people who fail to see, it's like, that's why I always watch the car in front of the car in front of me. I watch the car in front of it.
Me too.
Because Mom instilled that in us. She's like, you never watch the car in front of you. You watch the car in front of that.
Yeah, because they're the one that's going to slam on the brakes and cause the problem.
Right. So I always brake when they brake because I know the car in front of me is, I don't know, but I just don't have that, it's the same thing with chess. Whenever I play, I always think of like my next move ahead, whereas my opponent's always like 4 moves ahead of me, and that's why I always lose. So
it's the same.
I just don't have that. It's not hindsight. It's just
foresight.
Front sight? I don't know.
Foresight. It's foresight.
Okay.
Front sight, foresight, same. Anyway, all right. Well, thank you so much for your submissions. Please send more if you feel so inclined. We love reading them. And
they're fun.
Yeah, and those were good ones.
Real live experiences.
Yes, we love it. But that's all I have for today.
Me too. So everyone stay safe, stay cool. Not too cool if you're a producer Dub.
Apparently. I'll get him a shawl.
He'll get the sniffles. Maybe make him a blankie. And that's got your. Oh, I know what I'll do. I'll get a giant blanket with your picture on it.
Oh, so
and
he can have it.
Maybe I'll take a picture of your vagina and then have it print screened on a blanket, and he can cuddle with that at night. And
no one wants that.
Oh, he would. You know, he would roll up and right at the clit, he'd have it rubbing on his face.
Ew! Gross.
You know, he's sitting here listening to editing, and he's like, yeah.
No, he's probably looking. No, when he's really shocked by something, he rips off his earphones. He goes, "What did you say?" I'm like, "What?" And he's like, "You know, I'm listening to this right now. You know, I'm going to hear this." I'm like, "Yeah." And he's like,
he'll take his headphones off. I would rub my face on the clit.
He'll be like, "Jamie, I would never do that. I mean, come on." I'm like, "All right, that's fine." He's like, "I wouldn't."
Yeah, sure, whatever.
Okay.
Why did you have to tell him about the lid? That was private.
That was a private, intimate moment.
God, why do you have to root everything?
Because you make me. You make me do this.
You made me sound like a feeble, freezing old man. I'm not. I just mentioned that it was a little chilly. That's all I said.
Twice.
And
oh,
I
you
said
can hear
that
it.
because you were probably hogging the blankets anyway, even though you were, even though I was only covered with a sheet. What were you doing? Staring at me, freak?
Yes.
God.
Anyway.
He probably takes photos of you in your sleep.
He better not. I will kill. That is inappropriate behavior.
He probably has he probably has a hidden folder on his phone.
Just like Olivia videotaping my house without my knowledge and me walking into the screen. I'm like, that is inappropriate.
Yeah, she was all of like 8 years old.
Oh, God, it was so funny. I laughed at myself.
She had no idea. She's like, oh, okay.
She did it. I was laughing so hard at myself for knee-jerk reactioning like that. God, it was so funny.
Anyways, okay, well, thanks everybody for joining us. We will be back on Sunday.
Actually, we won't be.
Oh, no, that's right. We're not going to be because it's Labor Day weekend. Mm-hmm. So enjoy your nice long weekend. Do something labory and appreciate those who labor. And those, gosh, I hope if you don't labor, hopefully you'll get back to laboring soon. Mm-hmm. Because I know it's tough times out there and people have lost their jobs. So I hope that everything gets back to normal.
It will.
Soon.
But soon, please.
But if not, do something fun. Cheap, or free. And get outdoors or stay indoors. Whatever suits your fancy.
Drink a good and ugly drink.
Yeah, go have an adios, motherfucker.
Yeah.
I think they're blue. So
fun.
So you know it's good.
Go have a slutting on the rocks.
A slut on the rocks.
What's a slut on the rocks?
No, a redheaded slut.
Okay.
I don't know. Just ask the bartender, and then
they'll give you something.
You're like, something that's red and slutty. What is that?
My wife? No.
Yeah, right. He's like, I don't know. The girl over there. She's here every Saturday. So
there you go. She's the resident bicycle. So
she likes K number 4 on the jukebox. So I'm just kidding. All right, everybody. Have a good weekend, and we'll see you next Wednesday. Bye.